If you are ready to grow your self love so you can create more joy and abundance in every area of your life, you are exactly where you need to be. Thank you for joining me in the Love Yourself First Masterclass. This is going to be a transformational experience. I'm going to take about 30 to 45 minutes of your time, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you. Um, so, I want to talk about first how many of us are looking like we're functioning, we're looking strong, we're showing up, we're doing all of the things, and we still feel disconnected to ourselves. We maybe are drinking to numb, we are overthinking or questioning ourselves. And I really want to support you today in implementing actions to help you grow your self love. Because self love doesn't just happen, it is built through commitments and new habits and shifting maybe our thinking patterns. Um, this conversation matters. We are taught, especially as women, I believe, to take care of everybody else first, put everybody else first. I have so many clients that are people pleasers, or they just don't make themselves a priority, and it is keeping them stuck, it's keeping them unhappy. And I know for many years I spent not loving myself. I spent more than a decade not loving myself. And that is why I coach. That is why I chose to become a life coach, is because when I started self development in 2013, I started to learn all of these things. And they made such a positive impact on my life that I had to tell other people. So if you haven't met me before, I am Coach Cori Sartori, and I have been life coaching since 2016. I spent over a decade of my life in toxic codependent relationships. I was unhappy, unhealthy. I believe I started to lose my self-love when I was really young, when I was probably even before I was a teenager. And it's because of the words from adults, teachers, parents, people that made me feel like I wasn't enough, that I wasn't special. They made me feel like I should stay small and keep my mouth shut. And so by the time I became a teenager, I pulled away a lot. I became super shy, and kids started telling me that I was a bitch because I was shy and I pulled away. And it was safer there than to put myself out there, because when I put myself out there as a kid, I was told, knock it off, be quiet, stop doing that. And so I did. I became small because that's what everybody else wanted from me. And it didn't add value. Um, will you guys make sure that if you can hear me, you leave a comment too? I know I set up my microphone, but I just want to make sure it's working. But I I lost myself, and as a teenager, I was really disconnected from myself. I started to cut when I was 16 because I would rather feel the pain of a razor blade than feel the pain of not loving myself. And that is why I want to talk about this today, because so many of us maybe aren't even aware that we don't love ourselves. I know for me, I wasn't, because I let my ego take over at some point, and because I didn't feel worthy, I let my ego run the show, which made me kind of act like a bitch, and it helped me to pull away, and it helped me to protect myself. So, that did not help me. It hurt me. In my 20s, I was in toxic codependent relationships with not just romantic partners, but with friends, because I didn't love myself, because I didn't have boundaries, because I didn't make myself number one. And I used alcohol to numb so I didn't have to feel the pain. I escaped life because I didn't love myself. And I know there's some of you out there doing the same thing. And so I hope that you stay till the end. I hope that you take this in, and I hope you take on these actions. So in 2013, I found self-development, and I had just come out of my toxic codependent relationship with somebody very active in alcohol and drug abuse. Somebody that hurt me deeply and made me lose my self-love even more. I was just surviving at this point. So I started to do the work, and through actions, I started to build my self-love slowly. And that is why in 2023, when I wrote my book, Thrive and Flourish, which I actually have right here, this is my best-selling book. Guess what the first chapter is? Love yourself first. It is about self-love, because when I started to love myself, I started to change my entire life. I went from somebody that was stuck, somebody that was unhappy, somebody that was not living a life filled with joy and abundance, to somebody that was thriving. People would come and see me. They would see me and they hadn't seen me in years, and they would tell me, like, you're a totally different person. What have you done? And it's because I built my self-love. I chose to put myself first. I stopped putting everybody else's needs and wants. I stopped people pleasing. And it helped me to be lighter, more joyful, and it helped me to become the person that I'm meant to be. And so I really want to support you today in growing your self-love, because I know it will transform your life completely. So when we don't have self-love, our boundaries stay weak. I know for me, my boundaries were weak. My habits were very, very unhealthy. My confidence was not even there. Maybe I was confident in my career because I was good at that, but the rest of my life I was unstable. And then my relationships stayed painful. Not even just my relationships with friends and partners, but like my family relationships, because I didn't love myself. So I worked with a client a couple years ago who came to me with the same thing. She didn't love herself. She was married to somebody that didn't make her feel seen, that made her question herself, that put her down. And she lost a lot of her self-love. And when we started working together, that was what we started diving into, was how can she love herself more? How can she put herself first? Even as a mom of boys, like, she still wasn't showing up. She was taking care of everybody else, her partner, her house, her kids, her community, and she wasn't taking care of herself. And when we started working together, within 8 weeks, she found that self-love she'd been missing. And I remember her telling me, just like, thank you so much, Cori. I love you so much for doing this for me. I found me. I found the part of me that was missing. And so that's what I want to teach you today. I want to help you find the part of you that's missing. I want you to connect to your truth, the person you're meant to be, and I want to help you build your self-love. So let's talk about, what does that look like? So what actually creates self-love? We've all heard, take care of yourself, get pedicures, get massages, do those things for yourself. That's great. I love that kind of self-care, but self-love is deeper than that. It's not this fluff. It's real deep work that helps you to change your life. And so that's what I want to teach you today. So we're going to talk about 3 actions that are going to help you build love. And that first one is setting boundaries. This is so important. This is something I teach every single one of my clients. And if you need to set boundaries, I want you to stay till the end, because I have something really special for you. So boundaries are self-love in action. When you choose to set a boundary with somebody, it is showing your self-love. So if that is a boundary with somebody at work, if that is a boundary with your partner, if that is a boundary with your mom, your dad, your siblings, your best friend, setting that boundary teaches people how to treat you. Setting boundaries is showing your self-love. When we don't set boundaries, we are teaching people how to treat us. And when you do set boundaries, you're saying, this is what I will tolerate, this is what I will not tolerate. And this is so important. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to think about, what are the boundaries you maybe need to set in your life? What are they? Because often we don't. We think, well, maybe it won't happen again, or maybe it was just this one time. When somebody pushes your boundaries, that first time, I want you to set them. I want you to stop it and say, this is my boundary. Because if you set that boundary and somebody pushes against it, that tells you that person is not meant to be in your life. You want to be surrounded by people that respect your boundaries. By you setting boundaries in your life, you are showing your self-love. It is so, so important. A woman who loves herself does not constantly abandon herself to make others comfortable. So some ways you can set your boundaries is choosing to protect your energy. Journal on this. What does that look like to protect your energy? What could that mean for you? Maybe it's saying no to taking on the PTA. Maybe it's saying no to going out with your friends because you need time for yourself. Maybe simply setting a boundary is saying no without over-explaining. I've seen this 100 times, and somebody asks for something, and somebody can't do it, so they have to over explain about it. They can't just say, no, that doesn't work for me. They have to say, oh, well, I can't because I have my kids thing, and then I have this, and then I have this, and then no. I want you to get comfortable setting the boundary of just saying no and then moving on. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to over explain yourself. If something doesn't feel right to you, if there's something you don't want to do, something you can't take on because you're at capacity, you say no and you do not over explain it. Setting boundaries means also not answering everything immediately. It means not rescuing everyone. It means making yourself first. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to think about what is one boundary you could set in your life. You can drop it in the comment. I would love for you to set this boundary for yourself. Okay, so first action to grow your self-love is set boundaries. Journal on it. Where do you need to set those boundaries in your life? Who do you need to set boundaries with? Okay. So the next one is stop people pleasing and tell more truth. So people pleasing often looks like we're being kind, but it usually is coming from fear of what other people think, fear of what their perception will be of me. We people please and we make ourselves small. We people please because we're so worried about everybody else, we forget that the most important person in our life is us. My children know that I love myself first, because if I don't love myself first, I can't love anybody else, and either can you. So you have to stop people pleasing. This is something that 99% of my clients come to me with. They've been people pleasing their whole life. They're worried about hurting somebody's feelings. They're worried about saying no and upsetting somebody. So they people please all over the place, and then they're drowning because they can't take care of themselves. So I encourage you, you must stop people pleasing. So we people please because we're fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, fear of being misunderstood. Self-love requires honesty. And I want you to take a moment and think about, where are you saying yes when your body's saying no? Like in your body, you feel it going, but you're like, yeah, I'll do it. And I get it. I've been working on myself for 13 years. I still have to work on this because of the way that I was raised, because the culture, the women, we need to people please. We need to make everybody else happy before we make ourselves happy. And I want you to think about, where are you saying yes to doing things when you really want to say no? Where are you people pleasing? Is it in your relationship? Is it with your kids? Is it with your friends? Is it at your kids' school? Is it with your church? Where are you people pleasing? It does not add value. It keeps you small. So that's the second thing. The first one is, I need you to set boundaries. You need to set boundaries for yourself so you can love yourself first. And you need to stop people pleasing. How can you make yourself the number one priority? One of the things that I would say, what are those fears that you have by not people pleasing? What comes up for you? I would want to encourage you to sit with this and journal on it. If you feel like you're people pleasing, why? Who? How? Write that down. Okay. The third action that I want to offer you today is let go of what no longer supports who you are becoming. Let go of what no longer supports who you are becoming. So this includes habits, people, environments, old stories, emotional patterns. This is something that is so valuable to sit down with. And what I want to encourage you to do today is take some time to write out who future you looks like, feels like, acts like, because they are loving themselves first. How do you show up in the world? What's your energy like? How do you look? How do you dress? Who do you become because you choose to love yourself first? I want you to take some time to journal on that. And that clarity will then tell you what are the habits you need to give up, who are the people you maybe need to set boundaries with or remove from your life. That journaling will help you be aware of the environments. Like sometimes we go into some people's homes and it doesn't feel good. Sometimes we go into buildings, it doesn't feel good. Like, you know the environments you want to be in, and you know the environments that you don't. where do you need to set boundaries in that? Where do you need to let go of what no longer supports who you're becoming? And letting go of old stories. So we all have stories that we maybe have started when we were young. When we were kids, we started saying these things about ourselves and it didn't add value, it didn't serve us, and it kept us stuck. And those stories are just stories, they're not facts. And so any stories, like my story was I was a bitch for a long time, and I lived that story for 15 years, if not longer. I had to let go of that story to fully love myself. I had to let go of that belief of myself that I was a bitch, because I wasn't. I was truly loving and kind, but I put that persona of I'm a bitch up because it protected me, but it also stopped me from loving myself. And then become aware of your emotional patterns. Like, when do you get really elevated? When do you get really sad? Like, think about your emotional, do you feel emotions? Have you shut them off? Getting clarity on that and the emotions you want to feel in the future you, when you're really loving yourself, can be really powerful. So you cannot build a life you love while holding tightly to what keeps hurting you. And so I want you to let go of what no longer is serving you, what is no longer adding value. What is it? We hold on to I know I held on to a relationship for way too long that was just hurting me over and over. It kept me small. I lost my self-love. I lost my self-trust. I lost my self-confidence in it. And I stayed for way too long because I didn't love myself. And I'm sure there's some of you out there too. You've done the same thing. You stayed in a relationship too long. You drink to numb. You say yes when you want to say no. You let people push your boundaries. Having self-love means setting boundaries for yourself, stop people-pleasing, and letting go of what no longer serves you. There's one more action that I want to offer you today, because this one's really powerful for me. And it is because I started to lose my self-love as a really young child. And so one of the practices that I've taken on, and this can be hard, this one can be a little bit harder, and it is harder for me. It really brings up a lot of emotions. It brings up a lot of tears, is closing my eyes and imagining younger me, the younger version of me that started to lose herself. And in my mind's eye, as adult me, I go and I find that little girl and I sit her on my lap and I hold her. And I tell her everything's going to be okay. And that action, sitting in that feeling and sitting in that emotion, helps me heal. And so that is the one thing out of my 3 things. This is an extra add-on, extra credit if you want to do it. But I encourage you. That little girl in you is probably hurting if you don't love yourself. And I encourage you to go sit with her and put your arms around her and let her know she is worthy, she is loved, she is enough. Helping her grow her self-love will help you grow your self-love. So I hope that these actions were helpful for you. Again, set your boundaries, stop people pleasing, let go of what no longer serves you, and then go hug that little girl inside that needs that love, that needs to grow her self-love. Let her know the person she's going to become. Let her feel proud of who you've become. Those feelings are so transformational. So I hope this added value. And a couple reflection questions I want you to, again, journal on today is, where am I still abandoning myself? What do I tolerate that no longer fits who I want to become? And what habit, person, or pattern needs to change? So I want you to sit with those 3 questions. I'm going to say them again really quickly. Where am I abandoning myself? What do I tolerate that no longer fits who I want to become? What habit, person, or pattern needs to change? So I encourage you to sit with these questions, journal on them, because they're so valuable. And if you are a woman that is ready to build your self-love because you're ready to create the joy and abundance in your life that you know you deserve, I want to offer you 1 month free in the Goddess Glow Up Academy. Click the link in the comments to book a call. I would love to share with you how I can support you in getting from where you are to where you want to be. And I want to offer you 1 month free because I know the value of doing this work. Choosing to love myself has completely changed my life. It has helped hundreds of women I've worked with to love themselves more, to grow businesses, to leave hard relationships, to step into their power. Choosing to love yourself will absolutely transform your life, and I want to support you. So I have 3 spots open in the Goddess Globe Academy. You can click the link to book a call to learn more. I would love to share with you how I can serve you, how I can help you grow. And this work matters. This is how you become the person you are meant to be. So, when a woman truly loves herself first, her confidence changes. I know mine has. I'm way more confident than I used to be. The clients that I have worked with that have grown their self love are more confident than they ever were before. And it's amazing to see it. It's so incredible. Her standards change, her peace changes, her relationships change, and her future changes. So when you love yourself first, you create the life that you were always meant to have. And all of you are meant to love yourselves first. So I want to support you in growing your self-love by offering you 1 month free in the Goddess Globe Academy. Click the link to book a call to learn more. Thank you so much for being here. I value you. I value your time. Thank you for being you. And I look forward to connecting soon.